Hey guys, what is up? Lefty back here again, and thanks for checking out the video. So today we're going to be talking about one of the weapon systems that I think everybody should be familiar with, not only because of their versatility and their cost, but because they're kind of fucking cool to do this. Shotguns. So we're going to talk about running shotguns kind of mainly from a left-handed perspective, just because I think a lot of people kind of already know how to run shotguns, right? Or it's very easily transferable when I actually kind of run through kind of my preferred method of actually, talking about how to run a shotgun. Not that hard. So to demonstrate how we're going to run the shotgun, we're actually going to use these ST Action Pros, whatever these things. I'll put a link in the description if you guys want. These are actually probably one of my favorite snap caps for shotguns. There's a few others out there. There's ones that are metal. I don't like those fucking things. These are the best. They have an actual brass tip and plastic and all that shit. So yeah, they're really, really nice. So that's what we're going to be using for this video. So basically there's going to be two scenarios where you're going to be picking up a shotgun. Either you actually have an actual loadout for shotgun, not sure why. Maybe you're on, a close quarters map in Call of Duty, I'm not really sure. Or you pick it up because that's like your bedside, home defense gun, whatever you got. So basically a lot of ways people run shotguns is less than ideal, I would say, because most people probably have, your Gander Mountain Special, which is basically this. This is an 870 with, some Velcro and a little side saddle holster thing, and also a Magpul stock, which I'm actually not really a huge fan of. Most stuff I like from Magpul, but this, not my fave. It just feels a little weird when I do it. It feels just a little bit short, and I know everyone's gonna be like, well, you could put more padding on. It's like, I don't need fucking padding. I just want it to be, good. In a home defense situation, you probably got your shotgun, and you probably got the tube low full, and you probably have one in the chamber or not, because you think you're gonna do this and scare them away when you actually load one in the pipe. Whatever your personal preference and whatever your plan is for home defense, you can do that 100%. I'm just going to say that kind of loadout for the shotgun, just having nothing on it but just the two magazines, which I think this holds maybe 3 or 4 rounds plus one in the pipe, it's not great. I mean, granted, yeah, if you got somebody coming down the hallway, you can get a bead on them literally at this point and just shoot them once with buckshot, slug, whatever you got. They're probably gonna haul ass. I mean, I've heard a shotgun go off in a building. It's terrifying, especially if I was never been on the receiving end, but I can only imagine how fast the shit would come out of my ass if it did. Assuming that your one pump and your one shot release does not solve the issue, we're gonna go through a better way to set it up, which is gonna be some type of side saddle. There is side saddles that actually replace the actual screws that hold the trigger fire control group in there, as people like to say. But this one I think is probably the best just because it's a little bit more affordable and it's repeatable, replaceable, all that shit if it breaks down, which it will because it is Velcro. Well, it is what it is. Obviously, you just take a prep pad, alcohol prep pad, put some fucking 3M Velcro on the bitch, and then get one of these. This one is a SOE. There's a whole bunch of ones that make them, but this is kind of my favorite setup for this. Other than that, if you are running a shotgun setup, you're gonna have them in your pocket. That's pretty much it. If you are loading shells from your pocket, obviously it's less than ideal, but you can get it done. I mean, obviously, if you need to load, you just fish in, tube load, and you're good. So now, assuming that you don't have your grandpa's shotgun set up and you have something like this, let's talk about it. Okay, so we have a couple of things here. We have 2 shells going up and we have 2 shells going down. So this is kind of a personal preference thing. I prefer them down, and I will demonstrate why. So let's say we're shooting. Bang, bang, bang. Gun goes dry. We cycle. Whatever, bang, click. Now I know I'm empty. I lock it to the rear. From this position, as you can see, very ergonomically friendly, I can take my hand. I like to take my my middle finger, push down on the actual round, and then pinch it with my thumb, comes out, and then I can just slap that bitch right in there with the same hand and then throw it forward. That's my kind of personal preference. You also have the over the top. Let's see what's the easiest way. So let's say we go bang, 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 click. It's out. I can reach over and continue loading from there. But like I said, both methods work. I just prefer this method just because it's a little bit easier for me. When actually running the shotgun to port load like this, throw it forward, put a shot on bad guy, As you can see, you can get pretty decently fast. I haven't played with this in a long time, and I'm not great at it, but you know, if you need to suppress and fire on somebody, that's one way of doing it. Now, say you're firing and the little asshole got hit or something, went behind a corner, and I need to still put tactical pressure on that guy by shooting, port load, shoot, get his ass into cover, and make him fucking afraid to peek his little brain out for fear of losing it. Once I get that guy into cover and I'm in a position where I can actually hold him down, I can obviously, if the gun is loaded, keep pressure on him, and then without really manipulating too many digits, I can keep fire control hand on the gun and then just continue to load, top off, whatever the case may be, without taking eyes off a bad guy, you know, and stuff like that. And these are just not working right now, I think. There we go. And, you know, blah, 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 until I have a fully loaded gun. And then obviously if he pops up, you can obviously do what you need to do. Okay, now going back to the versatility part of the shotgun, some asshole out there is gonna be like, well, what about slugs? What about different kinds of ammo? What about flechettes? What about double-aught buck? What about birdshot and all this shit? And people want to talk about, like, how do I change if the situation changes? Like, say, whatever the fuck, some dude just pokes his head through a little window and I need a slug for whatever reason, or I need to shoot him through the door and because I know exactly where he is and I need a precise shot. Obviously, we can do a slug changeover, thank you for asking. So some people like to run all buckshot and then maybe have the 1 or 2, however people like to run it, for slugs. So in case I need to actually use a slug, if the situation presents itself, it's oriented differently, and obviously will probably be a different color as well, but I can differentiate it, right? So most of the slugs that I use are red, and most of the buckshot are kind of this white, clear look to it. So it's pretty easily distinguishable from one between the other, right? But if I need to do a slug changeover, that's when speed is not really a concern to me, just more differentiating what round is which round, right? So I'm just gonna take, say, bad guy behind the door or whatever the hell, or I need to take a hostage shot for whatever goddamn reason with a shotgun. That'll be epic. Hit him in the head on that damn thing. Obviously, if we need a slug at any point, we can just load it in the tube and then load it. Buckshot comes out, or whatever the hell was in there, your flechette rounds, and now I have a slug, and now I can just send it. But yeah, that is pretty much it. That is a kind of a quick little breakdown of how to run a shotgun, mainly as a left-hander. Obviously, some of these things can translate, especially with regards to orientation and shit like that. Not sexual orientation, but I mean just kind of how your rounds are kind of situated on your side saddle, which is my preferred way of running the shotgun. There are like chest rigs for shotguns. I think that's a little ridiculous, but they do exist. But other than that, when people are like, well, how do you run safeties? How do you do this or that? It's a shotgun. At the end of the day, you're just gonna have to figure out what works best for you. With the 870, I'm not a big fan of it. I prefer the 590, to be honest, just because of that safety up here on the tang. But 870s are a good gun, especially the older guns are really good guns. But for me personally, in terms of manipulating the safety, kind of a load ready looks like this. If I need safety off, I can just use my middle finger here and kind of keep finger away from, you know, the danger switch. I don't know what's going on with my voice. Obviously, right-handers don't have that issue. And obviously pushing it back onto safety, index, right? Left-handers do have a little bit easier of a time to actually hit that slide release button. So, other than that, like I said, personal preference, but everybody should know, or at least be familiar with, how to run a shotgun just in case you need to in the event shit happens. Anyway, I'm hot. Thank you guys for watching. Links are going to be in the description if you want to support the channel. And yeah, sorry I haven't made a video in a long time. It's been a bit hectic, but you know, we're getting there. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Be good.